Hello and welcome to a Lovely Yarn podcast. My name is Amber, and today I have a special episode where I'm going to be talking about 12 summer knitted tops that I would totally knit if I had the time to knit all of these. I would definitely cast all these on. Now, realistically, I'm maybe going to have time to knit one, maybe two of these. I live in Western Pennsylvania, so my summer season here is not... I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I can really justify knitting a bunch of summer shirts, but I do like to knit the summer patterns because, let's face it, they're usually smaller, they go a bit faster, and they are nice to wear. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Before I get into all that though, I should tell you I am wearing one of my favorite patterns for a summer shirt. This will not be included in today's podcast special, but I do want to just give a shout out for this pattern. This is the Anchor Summer Shirt by Petite Knit, and I knit this out of Drops Belle in the color, I think it was color number 21 or 23. I will have all that information linked down below. I will have the links for the patterns linked down below too. Every pattern I talk about will be linked down below. So just a few notes before I actually get into the content of this and we talk about each specific pattern. Okay, so keep in mind, I have not made any of these patterns. These are just patterns that I have spent research on Ravelry finding, and I would love to make them, but I have not made any of them. So I cannot speak to pattern ease. I cannot speak to the accuracy of the patterns. I will say that I think every pattern I chose had around at least 100 projects linked to that. So at least 100 people have made that, but realistically we know that more than that because not everybody, including myself, post their projects to Ravelry. So that's the first note. Second, I chose patterns that I would want to wear. And so this wasn't just a type in summer shirts on Ravelry, let's see what I find. No, I spent actually hours looking through Ravelry to find patterns that I would actually want to wear or items that would fill gaps in my wardrobe. Another thing, I did not choose anything that was overly complicated because my wear time for summer knits is usually only, let's say, 4 months. And I don't want to be spending months knitting on something that I'm only going to have a month then left to wear. So I did try to choose less complicated patterns. There is one pattern on this list that may be a little bit more time consuming, but because it is a summer shirt, it's still going to be smaller than knitting like a whole full-blown winter sweater. So I have this divided up into different categories. We're going to start out with tank tops, then we're going to move into more like the t-shirt style, and then that I've actually broken down even further into yoked tops and then into stripes, and then I have one cardigan that I'm tagging on at the end because that is something I am sorely lacking in my wardrobe, a summer cardigan. So let's get started. I'm going to flash the picture of each pattern up here while I talk about it, and as I said, there will be a link to all of the patterns down below, and stick around to the end for a little surprise as well. Okay, so first up is the Soho top. This is a pattern by Caidree, and I actually talked about this pattern in my last regular episode because it is one that I'm actually planning on casting on. I already have yarn that I'm going to make this with, so it's just a matter of doing my gauge swatch and starting. This pattern is $6.50. It comes in 10 different sizes. The pattern says it uses worsted weight yarn. I saw a lot, so the designer used Purl Soho Sweetgrass. I'm not familiar with that, but I think it's a fingering weight. So she held 2 strands double to get like a kind of like a worsted weight. Although typically when I think of 2 strands of fingering weight, I think DK, but I don't know. However, when I was looking through all the project page on Ravelry, I noticed that a lot of people had used Drops Belle, which is what this particular shirt is made out of, and I've actually made lots of summer shirts out of Drops Belle. I highly recommend that yarn. The price point is unbeatable. I order mine off Wool Warehouse. I think it's on sale right now for €2 a skein. So another option that I saw for this was Sandusgarn Lene, which here in the US, I was looking yesterday, and I think you can get that for like around $7.50 US dollars. But anyway, back to the Soho top. So this is knit on size 6 needles. It has a boat neck style neckline, and it's designed to be worn with 0 to 3 inches of positive ease. It's knit top down. It's worked in the flat for the front and the back, and then it's joined under the arms, and you knit in the round the rest of the way. And then it has a really nice I-cord edging around the neck, the arms, and the bottom hem, I believe. So another really nice thing I like about this is on the side there is like a faux seam down each side of the tank, which I think gives a nice polished finish. The Thea top by Susanne Muller is another tank that I really like the look of. It's roughly $5.23. It comes in 5 sizes from small to extra large. It is another worsted weight pattern. The designer used Sandusgarn Lene to knit hers, and it's knit on size 6 needles. So the project page, if you look at it on Ravelry, it's written in German, so there wasn't a whole lot of information, but I clicked through to go to her Etsy shop, and I got more information off of there. So it looks like this is knitted top down. The back and the front are knitted separately, which is pretty much how all tanks are knitted, and as far as the ones that I've done in the past. And then it's joined under the armholes, and it's knit in the round the rest of the way. Then there's ribbing around the neck and the arms that's added on last. This was identified as a beginner pattern, so that's great if you've never knit like a garment before. And it's meant to be worn with positive ease. I need basic tanks like this in my wardrobe. This is literally something that I am missing in my wardrobe, so that's why I was drawn to this pattern. Another thing is it has the nice thick shoulder straps, because I do not like my bra straps sticking out. So that is one thing. When I saw lots of beautiful tanks yesterday when I was looking, but a lot of them, my bra strap would be showing. So this is a nice pattern for that too. It hides the bra straps if that's something that is important to you. Okay, the retro button top by Witre Design, $6.85. This is so adorable. It comes in 7 sizes, extra small to 3XL. And it is also knitted with a worsted weight. Suggested yarn is Drops Belle and Sandusgarn Lene. This is knit, the main needle is a US 6, and it's worked from the bottom up, and it's worked flat, because it does have a button panel down the front, and those are functioning buttons. So keep that in mind. I'm not a huge fan of knitting from bottom up, but I will do it, and I have done it from time to time. The designer states that you should pick a size that is a bit slimmer than your bust measurement, and because it will stretch out a little bit. And I think so I would maybe wear this just over like with a pair of shorts or something, but why I really was drawn to this pattern was because I thought this would look super cute over like tank dresses. I have a couple of dresses that are, they have like the tank sleeves, well not sleeves, but straps. And then I often wear shirts like this one over that, and I thought if it was a really hot day, this would look really cute over it. Just make it cropped, and I thought adorable. I do like the buttons. The only concern with this one is that sometimes buttons gape, and I do not like gaping buttons at my bust line. Even if I'm wearing it over something, I just don't like the look of a gaping button. So I did think that this could possibly be modified to actually knit in the round and to just do a faux button seam up the front. It would take a little bit of reworking and a little bit of thought, but I think that wouldn't be too hard to do. I just really like the look of the buttons. I think it actually gives a nice finishing touch. Okay, let's move into t-shirts or tees. And the first one is a mess tee from Pacific Knot. This pattern cost $6.89. It comes in 9 sizes from a 36-inch bust to a 68-inch bust. It is knit in DK weight yarn. The designer actually used Knit Picks Kindred DK. I'm not familiar with that yarn. I have not even ever heard of it. but it only uses 450 to 980 yards, which I thought that was pretty nice. It's knit bottom up. So this is another bottom up knit, and it's knit in the round until the sleeves, at which point you're working the front and the back panels separately, and then the shoulders are seamed. The thing that I love about this one is that it is reversible in how you can wear it. So not inside out reversible, but it has a V-neck on one side, and then it has just a regular neck like this one on the other side, and it's actually made so that you can flip that around. So if you want to wear the V-neck in the front one day and the V-neck in the back the next day, that's perfectly doable because it's made so that you can do that. I also really love the little eyelets that just kind of dance across the fabric of the tee. I think that makes this look really feminine and dainty. This next tee is the one that's going to require a little bit more time and thought. This is called the Shore Tee. It is a pattern by Ventzel. The pattern costs $7.59. It comes in 5 sizes. So that was one thing about this pattern I wasn't overly excited about. It's not extremely size inclusive. It only goes from a 37-inch bust to a 48-inch bust. So it is limited in size. It uses a DK weight yarn. The designer held sport weight with a lace together, and when you look at the pictures on Ravelry, there is a halo to this, to the designer's sample, so she must have used like a Suri or a mohair, something to give it some fuzz. I would not do that because that would be hot, so I would just sub in a plant-based fiber. The shirt is knitted on US 2.5 needles. It's knit top down. So let me tell you a little bit about the construction of this. And this is what makes it maybe a little bit more challenging. It's knitted a little bit differently. So the neck and the top part of the yoke are worked in the round. Then the yoke is divided into the front and back, and each section is worked flat until the bottom of the armholes. And then the back section is worked longer than the front for a more comfortable fit. Then the body is worked in the round to the bottom, and then you pick up the arm stitches and shape them with short rows, like on the caps, and then they're worked in the round. And the hems are also twisted ribs. So this definitely is a more involved pattern. I'm not saying it's hard. It's not like you're knitting in the round the whole way through. You're doing some shaping through different constructions. I don't know that I've ever done a shirt like this, but I think it would be interesting to see how that would all work out. I was looking through the pattern pages or the project pages from other knitters. I noticed that there were people who used Melabrigo Susaro, Sandusgarn Tin Lene, Knitting for All of Pure Silk. I know that we have access to all of those, so that would be a good alternative. So I love the feminine look of this top. I love the little rows of eyelets that run vertically. I think that's gorgeous. So this would be potentially a little bit more labor intensive, but for me, in my opinion, I think it would be worth it. Here's another pattern from Caidree. I seem to like her patterns. They're very simple and classic, I think, but this is the Suri shirt. It is a $6.50 pattern. It comes in 9 sizes from extra small to 5XL, and it uses fingering weight. She knit her sample using BC Garn Tussa Tweed. When I was looking through the project pages, a lot of people used Purl Soho linen quill. I realized that is actually a blend of linen and I forget the other fiber. It's an animal fiber. So it may not be the coolest fiber, but it is a fingering weight, and it might make a shirt that's good for like the transition into summer and the transition out of summer rather than a true summer shirt. This is an oversized boat neck drop shoulder shirt. It is knit top down. It's worked in the flat and then joined and worked in the round the rest of the way down. It has slits on each side of the waist and 2x2 ribbing on the neck, the arms, and the bottom hem. I picked this. This has been on my list since last year because this is a timeless, very classic piece that I think would go with a lot of things that I have, and I would knit this in a neutral color because then I feel like I would get more use out of it. But yeah, I think this would be a great staple piece for my wardrobe. Moving on to yoked shirts now. These next 3 shirts have lace knitting in the yoke. So they're knitting the round in the, like a round yoke. This first one is called Magna Flora. It is by Alisa Hartzel. It's $8.25. It's written for 8 sizes from 36-inch to 66-inch bust, and it's knitted in a worsted weight. The designer suggests using Skagen Lene. It's knit on a US 9 and 7. It's a circular yoke, as I said. The designer was inspired by flowers, and you can see that in the lace motif of this. It's knit seamlessly from the top down, and then there's another small amount of lace along the bottom hem, which I thought was a really nice touch. The pattern gives instructions for short sleeves as well as 3/4 length sleeves, and it's meant to be worn with 3 to 5 inches of positive ease. I think this would be the perfect kind of flowy, cropped shirt to wear over dresses. Up next is the Crescendo Summer Top by Knit Purl Girl. This pattern is $7.95. It comes in 11 sizes from 29.5-inch to 57-inch bust. It is knit in a DK weight yarn. The suggested yarn that the designer lists is the Skagen Lene, Drops Belle, and Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. It's knit on a US 6 needle, and it is a top-down construction, knit in the round. There's an option of starting with a rib neckline or casting on with an I-cord cast on. The yoke is worked, and by the way, the yoke is charted. It's a diamond lace pattern, and then it's shaped, the yoke is shaped with lifted increases. So there's also an option of working German short rows into after the yoke to improve the fit, which I would probably do that. And then there's also the option of finishing with ribbing or as just a plain knitted hem. She gives a lot of really good info on yarn subs on the project page, and I would wear this. I think I would wear this cropped over a dress, or actually I would just wear this with a pair of shorts or a pair of like linen pants. The thing that was nice about this when I was looking through the projects is that the lace motif all seems to be above like the bra line where the Magna Flora it goes down much further, so I feel like I would have to wear the Magna Flora with something underneath, where this one I think I could get away with wearing it on its own because all of the lace is from like here up, so it wouldn't be showing things. But yeah, really nice, beautiful top. I like the lace motif on that one. The next tee is the Clover Tee Solo by Lene, Holme, Samsoe. This is $6.83. It comes in 8 sizes from extra small to 5XL. It's worsted weight yarn. She suggests using the Skagen Lene. It's knit on a US 6 needle, and it is a lace yoke that is knitted top down. Short rows are worked before beginning the lace section, and that just helps to improve the fit. And then there are short ribbed hems. I love this little tee. I just thought it was so endearing. Those simple little lacy details just at the top. It's like they were just sprinkled on, and then the rest is stockinette. So I feel like this project would just fly by. I mean, it's on US 6 worsted weight, and yeah, I love the little sprinkles of lace eyelets up at the top. It's just so cute. Okay, up next I have 2 striped shirts. Now I personally really love the look of a striped shirt in the winter. It just is very nautical looking, and I think it's very classic, and it just goes with a lot of pieces that I have. So I have 2 that I had found and wanted to share. I realize that most of you probably know about both of these, but as usual, I'm a little late to the game on these patterns. So let's just talk about them. So the first striped tee that I want to talk about is called the Farnham tee, and this is by Knit Purl Girl. This pattern is $7.95. It comes in 11 sizes from 29.5-inch to 57-inch bust, and it is knit using 2 strands of fingering weight held double or DK weight yarn, and it's knit on size US 7 needles. It is a slightly oversized drop shoulder t-shirt with stripes. It has a half twisted rib collar, and it's worked from the top down, both flat and in the round. The back panel has German short rows for shaping for an improved fit. And it also, using those German short rows also helps to shape the shoulders. The front shoulders also use German short rows to shape, so if you are not a fan of short rows, you may not want to knit this. So you'll eventually rejoin and work the rest in the round, and then the sleeve stitches are picked up last, and you work some decreases on those to shape the sleeve. So this is a classic striped shirt. I love the boxy fit, but it's not too boxy, which is nice. And I really like drop shoulders, so that was another thing that I liked about this pattern. Also, another thing, this is the second pattern from Knit Purl Girl that I've featured on here. I did not mean to do that, but I have to say I've never knit any of her patterns, but if you go to her pattern pages on Ravelry, she gives a ton of information about her pattern, so I feel like you could make a really informed decision about whether or not you think that pattern is going to work for you. And she also gives a ton of information about yarn substitution for her pattern, which is very helpful and I think goes above and beyond what a designer is required to do on their project page on Ravelry. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with this next one. This is the Tolsta tee by Rebecca Clow. It is $9.28. It comes in 10 sizes with a bust ranging from 31.5 to 66.75 inches. It's knit with a US 8 and 6 needle. It's a DK weight. Actually, let me back up. This pattern comes with two different options. One is to knit it in a DK weight and the other is to knit it in a fingering weight. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 pattern. It is a raglan t-shirt. It is seamless and it's knitted top down. The pattern includes ideas and resources to customize the shirt. You can do stripes, you can do eyelets. I was actually really drawn to the eyelet version of it. There was a version where she actually did some embroidery on it afterwards, which I thought was cool. So I really liked the versatility of it as well as the fit and the fact that it's a raglan. I think it might be the only raglan that's on this list. So yeah, I know that a lot of people have knit this pattern in the past, but like I said, I am kind of late to the party, but I thought this would make a good option. The last pattern that I have for you guys is a cardigan pattern. This is the Skagen tee by Witre Design. $6.85. It is written for 7 sizes from an extra small to a 3XL. It's knit with DK yarn. She suggests Sandnes Garn Lene, no surprise there. Worked on a US 6 needle. It's worked from the bottom up and it isn't worked flat because it is a cardigan. It has a slim fit, a deep V-neck, which I like. I love V-necks. It has t-shirt sleeves and it is designed with raglan decreases at the bust to kind of shape that. So if I were to knit this, I would knit this somewhat cropped, like not overly cropped, but somewhat cropped, because I think that this would be wonderful to throw on over a dress. And I have to say, I don't think I have a single summer cardigan, so this would be a really good addition to my wardrobe. I hope you guys found this informative and found some inspiration for some summer knits for this summer. Let me know what you are planning on knitting, or do you even knit summer garments? I don't know, not everybody does. And the little surprise that I wanted to add on here at the end for those of you who stuck around to the end to watch, I would love to give away one of these patterns to one of my viewers. All you need to do is make sure that you're a subscriber to my channel. Please like this video and then leave a comment down below if you were chosen. What pattern would you pick? Now I have 12 listed here, but if there's another pattern that you have just been wanting to knit that is a summer knit, then by all means, I will buy that pattern for you. These purchases will be made on Ravelry though, because that is the easiest platform for me to buy and send a pattern as a gift. So again, just leave your comment down below. Tell me what pattern you would love to win. And if you have worked with Sandnes Garn Lene, I'm really curious about it. Let me know that as well, because I'm actually really considering buying some of this yarn to give it a try. I have not tried it yet. I heard it's very similar to Drops Belle. I think it's the exact content, same fiber content, but I am curious to try it to see if it's any different. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And again, all the links are down below. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.